Hello. I'm hoping that we are now live. My name's Laura and I'm the founder and editor of The Happy Hood. You are coming to us via the magic of the internet for our launch party, which is really weird. This is not something we would normally do. In fact, I hope we only have to do it once and never do it again. Normally, with every issue launch of The Happy Hood, we would have a launch party, so we would invite people to come along to normally a local venue in Northampton, and we'd get to know each other and we'd say hi, and yeah, it'll be good. But we can't do that this time, so I'm launching issue 9. This is so weird, digitally into the world, and we've got some people along for the ride to have a chat with you. It's not just going to be me talking at the camera for an hour. That would be a bit weird. So you can get involved in the chat. So you're watching this on YouTube. If you go down, you should be able to chat and interact. So if you've got any questions or anything that you want to ask as we're going along, please get involved. Yeah, we're just gonna have a good time. So I'm gonna bring in my first guest, so that you've got another lovely face on the screen. He needs no introduction really. He's the man, the legend, Mo.
Hey! How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, very well. I've got to disagree with another lovely face to start things off, but definitely an oblong face, an olive face, if you will.
It's a lovely face, Mo. It's great. What are you thinking?
Sorry, I'm drinking tonight. I'm supping on a ginger-infused rum and Pepsi Max, so nothing but the best when you're on lockdown.
I'm on gin and tonic with some cucumber in it, so yeah, we're really celebrating. Cheers. Mo, tell us about yourself then. So who are you? Why are you here?
I mean, that's a question I'm still trying to figure out all these years later. But yeah, I am now I'm going to say it, I'm a veteran contributor of The Happy Hood, having this being my 3rd issue that I've been lucky enough to be published in. Thank you very much for bearing with me in those times. So yeah,
I'm lucky, you know.
I do feel like a competition winner most of the time. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically me, a failed podcaster, radio star, rock star, actor, you name it, I've failed at it, and this is the latest thing that I'm failing at, but with you, hopefully in a better way.
I mean, we're all failing at it, to be honest. No, of course not. You're doing a great job. So yeah, you're a writer, contributor for The Happy Hood. How did you find out about us, and how did you get involved?
So I found out about you, I think it was issue 1 I heard about, but it sold out so quickly that I couldn't get it for love nor money. Issue 2 I found thanks to the good people of Hatbox, and it was instantly, and I know I've said this to you, and one thing I'm not good at is sincerity in any way, but I just thought this is important. This is genuinely beautiful to see somebody talking about what I've always thought, which is Northampton as a really positive, interesting place full of amazing people. And this is the first time in a long time that I've seen anyone try to shine a light on it. Obviously, at no point did I have any sort of idea or confidence that I would then be like, oh, let's find out who the editor is and barge my way in here to start writing. But reading the way that you had written, and then finding you on Instagram, reading your blogs and whatnot, and writing being something that I've always wanted to do but scared to do, I sent you something that I was going to write for a blog post, and you were nice enough to put that in an issue and also give me some genuine feedback on what worked and what didn't work. So it started with me throwing myself on your advice and mercy, and you've kind of dragged me along for the ride since then.
You do realise I'm not an expert at this. In fact, I'm still making it up as I go along.
Well, you say that, but your writing says differently. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you live in Northampton as well, though, right? Have you always lived here?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Apart from a couple of stints job-wise in Leicester. But, yeah, since I was about 10, I've been a Northamptonian. And I think, like most people of certainly my generation, I've been through the oh, this place is so small and nothing's going on through the, maybe I should move to London and doing that whole thing. But luckily I didn't. And it's because of that we've got to see some amazing highs and lows throughout my history of Northampton, which is kind of what I write about on the whole. And I genuinely think it's never been better than the last couple of years. The things that we're seeing pop up, the people that are coming out of the woodwork. I am unashamedly a massive fan of what's going on here, and unashamedly a fan of being able to comment on it in a publication as positive as The Happy Hood.
Ah, good. Well, I mean, I'm unashamedly positive and grateful for Northampton as well. So I'm not from here. I know, shock, spoiler. I choose to be here. So I've lived in Northampton on and off since I was 18. I am now 36. And I did the move into London thing. I lived in Dublin for a couple of years, but I keep coming back to Northampton because there's just something about it. It's just, it's cool.
Yeah. I think, well, obviously I think so, but yeah, I think it's cool. And I think what's nice is the right kind of people are starting to hear about it.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to get involved in. The thing with Northampton that I found, and part of the reason why we set up the Happy Hood in the first place, is because I felt like it was difficult to find out what was going on, because there was so much going on. But unless you knew that person in that band or that person in that charity who was doing that, or, you know, it was difficult. There wasn't really one main place to find out about stuff. And when I looked around to the local media, people like the Chronicle and Echo at the time were not saying anything positive about Northampton whatsoever. In fact, all of the local media was just full of negativity because of the council and the shops closing and the dirty streets and all of that stuff. And that's not to say that that doesn't still happen, and that's not reality. But there needed to be some balance, I think. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I definitely have, especially with the kind of corona coverage, that the local press is a lot more positive than they would have been. They're fine. Like we wrapped the Happy Hood in Chronicle and Echo. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing to begin with, and now it's just a really cost-effective and eco way of sending the zines out when we're posting them. But I flicked through one of the latest copies, and it was actually probably about 75% of it to 80% of it was positive, which it never 2 years ago wouldn't have been that. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, and it's a great point that you make. That I think, especially, and I don't know if you were here for this, but I think since when the Soundhouse closed down, which was probably the last thing that came close to me calling it Armageddon before what's going on right now, it did feel like all these disparate people and bands and artists and everything in between kind of shot across Northampton, and it was really difficult to hear about them and what they were doing. And I think, yeah, you're absolutely right that Chronicle and Echo didn't really care, and we needed something that did care. And it's amazing that you've started the Happy Hood as a kind of way to just know all the good stuff that's going on and where to go. But I also like the fact that it's kind of evolving into its own beast, where it's not only just what to do, but it's shining a light on so much more. That it's just getting more and more interesting. I haven't even
paid you to say this. Like, what?
I'd imagine it's getting very costly at the printers. So get those subscriptions in, guys. Click and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Thehappyhood.com. I don't know if you... Oh, it's this way. There you go. I wouldn't make a very good weather girl. Do you like my sign? This was made by Bill Pollard, a local artist and living legend, who's also been making the signs on the racecourse. So, yeah, thanks, Bill. I can't...
They're amazing. Fantastic. Yeah. And I've got a purple wall hanging, so if you want to click on that, it will do nothing, but it might make you feel slightly better in your mood.
Can we just compare t-shirts as well for a second? What's your t-shirt?
So mine today is
for fuck's sake, well.
Yeah, absolutely. Supporting local music through and through with words that you can't say post-watershed. But the t-shirt says it all. What have you gone for today? I'm guessing.
I mean,
it's a bit of self-promotion, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Absolutely.
Available on the website now in black or white. So head over to thehappyhood.com to get your hands on your t-shirt. Yeah, bit of self-promotion there. I'm just looking at some of the chat comments. So Chris is telling us to wash our hands. Mo, have you washed your hands?
I have just before this, hence I'm taking the time to touch all of my face.
Good. Hayley's very excited to see Mo and has sent hearts eye emojis. And I'm going to call you Aaron because I know who you are, although that's not your screen name. He's saying because of the Happy Hood. So I think that's in relation to media getting a bit more positive. So thanks, Aaron.
Yes.
Cool. So what do you like most about being part of the Happy Hood? Because you don't get paid for any of this. So why are you doing it?
So, I mean, I spend far too much of my waking life trying to think of ways to hopefully be funny or attempt to be funny. The last 10 minutes and 55 seconds of this may go against that. But in general terms, I spend my entire life trying to be funny. And writing funny, it's something that I've always loved. Great, funny writers. And when I find them, I stick to them. But never really had the confidence to do it myself. And when you write something down yourself, you're kind of in two ways where you're like, I think this is funny, but who the hell am I? So the chance to actually contribute to a magazine about Northampton, trying to be humorous about Northampton and the things around it is absolutely amazing. Although saying that, already you've got me in there talking about art, which is something that I like in general terms. So you also get sincere Mo, the really, really dull Mo, this guy. So it's kind of, you're giving me the best of both worlds to try and be both humorous and dull as hell in your pages, which is balanced.
Well,
it's all about balance, isn't it?
There's nothing about your writing that's dull. It's fantastic. And I'm so glad. And that's what I like about the Happy Hood is, you know, you don't have to be a writer or an artist to get involved. You just have to be somebody who has something to say. Like, you know, we're not trying to win some kind of Nobel Prize for writing. We're literally, I want people to talk how they normally would talk. So, yeah,
absolutely. And I think anybody that does watch this, either now live or later on when you post it, wherever you post it, as long as you're not better than I am, I think you should definitely send your stuff in to Laura to have a look at. As long as I don't get ousted because of it, because I'll hunt you down. I've got nothing else to live for.
Northampton's a small place. You can find them. Don't you worry.
Okay, fine.
On that note, before you get any more aggressive, I'm going to bring in our next guest, who's hopefully going to be slightly less intimidating, and that is the legend that is Jordan. So come on in, Jordan. Yay! Clap in the chat for Jordan, please.
I'm not a legend yet.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. So Jordan, who are you? Why are you here?
So my name's Jordan, but my alias, RE type alias, is Rare Suede or Suede. I haven't figured out which one yet. So I'm an artist. You might see some stuff on the wall here. Random ideas that I like to just chuck on the wall, you know, and just, I'm an illustrator at heart, and I like to make street arty stuff, comics, drawings, graffiti, that type of stuff.
I was going to say, when you say street art, does that mean graffiti, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I've knocked it on the nose. I'm not doing it anymore.
Of course not. Of course not. You're on lockdown. You're not allowed out.
I need those legal murals. That's what I need.
Yes, that's what you need. So anyone who wants to commission Jordan for some, you know, legal street art, please do commission him, basically.
Yeah.
So we can see some of your artwork behind, but what have you done in terms of the Happy Hood? How have you got involved and what kind of artwork have you been contributing?
So with the Happy Hood, actually, I've done one of the covers. That was, I think, was that the first one I'd done? No, I did illustrate a little few illustrations to contribute to some of the pages before. I think that was the Big Walk.
Yeah.
I did illustrations for. I did the Happy Hood 3 cover. So I've been contributing since way back in the day.
Yeah. You're an OG.
I'm an OG. So, and I like to just contribute to things that I think are positive. You were like one of the first people that sort of I've seen sort of trying to talk about Northampton in like a positive light. And I find it amazing because you're also not from Northampton. So you're sort of outside looking in and like highlighting all these positive things going on. I thought, yeah, that's wicked. So I thought I have to be a part of this and just contribute.
And have you lived in Northampton all your life?
I've lived here for most of my life, yeah, and then I've lived in Birmingham for a little bit, but then I came back. So yeah, Northampton, born and bred. This is where I'm from. Proud to be from here. You're a big contribution to that, and everyone else that contributes to the Happy Hood as well. It's just an amazing thing to be a part of.
Ah, that's good. I didn't pay you for that either. Why is everyone being so nice? I picked the right people, clearly. So what kind of artwork do you do at the moment then? What kind of stuff are you working on?
So at the moment, I'm building up characters for like this comic book that I want to release. I haven't quite figured out just yet what I want to do with them, but my basic storyline is that these people that are street artists or graffiti artists, they've got like these superpowers that everything that they paint comes to life, and they battle each other with these weird paintings that come to life. It's a bit Yu-Gi-Oh-y type thing going on there, and the government's trying to like crush these guys and suppress expression. That's sort of like the broader idea. I don't know. I need a couple of writers maybe to help me out with it.
Oh, no, that way.
This guy.
Am I pointing the right
way? This way. Sorry. I need a few writers in there because I'm terrible at writing, but I'm good at the drawing.
I bet you're not. Have you ever tried writing?
No, not really, to be fair.
Right, that's it. I'm commissioning you for an article in the next issue, definitely.
Oh, no, pressure. To be fair, I remember my dissertation. I literally looked at my dissertation as I was like clearing up all my clutter in my room the other day, and I looked at it, I was like, this is so bad. Like, I can't believe I wrote this. It's poor.
I bet it wasn't. I bet it was great.
No, it was really bad. It was really bad.
It was really bad. So what's been your favourite thing to contribute to the Happy Hood? Because you've done a bunch of illustrations. Like you say, you did the cover for issue 3. So what's been your fave?
I think probably the cover, actually, for issue 3.
Shall I get the cover, just so everyone can see it? Bear with. Phil.
This is another good point. I'm going to jump in here quickly because the Happy Hood introduced me to your work, and that's another massive thing about this, that it is sharing. There it is.
There it is.
What I really like about this is I asked you to do the cover and you were like, okay, what do you want? And I was like, whatever you want, just do anything you like. And your face kind of was just like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I was like, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah, we've had some really good covers, but this is definitely one of my faves because I love the way that you've got like the traditional shoe against the kind of graffiti type background. I just thought it was really clever.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, and that one came to me sort of like, we had a deadline. I think I did that like the day before. I need like
You normally do your illustrations the day before, or actually the day after, or the week after the deadline. To be fair.
Yeah, I know. I've been late a few times, but most of the time, 90% of the time, I've done it just on the dot.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's like
I
the
didn't
day
know
after.
being late was an option.
Oh,
You're teaching me new things all the time here, Swade. I'm going to kick back a bit now. I've been up until 3 in the morning trying to put me full stops and explanations.
Look, there's no rules. There's no rules. You know, you just got to
Good to know.
And you know, just do the best that you can do. If you get it on time, you get it on time. If it's late, you apologise. And you know,
what have I started here? No, you must hit the deadline. It makes my life so difficult. In fact, you and Josh, who's coming on later, are the worst for deadlines. And Alex Cotton as well. He ignores every single deadline and thinks it's not for him. So that's always a bit annoying.
I think this is the first time I've ever been a goody two shoes. I've never felt such a teacher's pet in my life. I've got a question for you, Slade. I've got an isolation-based question. So people get an hour every day to exercise outside. If they wanted to go for a walk, would they be able to walk anywhere where they could see some of your older, obviously you don't do it anymore, graffiti work?
If you want to take a walk by the Nen River, by the A45, underneath there, you might just see some stuff there. It might be painted over by now, to be fair. I haven't looked at it in a long time.
That's good to know.
Yeah. But I'm not condoning any of that behaviour anymore. Just draw on paper. That's it.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Whatever.
Cool.
Let's just have a quick look at the chat and see what people have been saying. So Chris says he's loving the positivity about Northampton. Thank you. We're doing our best. Katie as well says loving the spreading of happy news in Northampton and the sense of community. Katie's a contributor as well who does amazing work. So thanks. Chris, great work, Laura, and everyone. Et al, he said, because I think that means everyone. Big up NN, can't wait to read issue 9. Tell us how we get a hold of a copy. Thanks, Chris. All right, I will. So you can get your grubby little mitts on issue 9, which is out now. The only way you can get it at the moment is via the website, which is thehappyhood.com. I'm not sure I'm doing that very well. We normally stock in independent businesses, but obviously they're all closed because of lockdown. I am going to shout them all out though, because I always forget to do this if I'm on the radio or whatnot. I always miss somebody out, so I'm going to shout them all out now quickly. So we have Audio Works, Bartella's Coffee House, Bread and Butter Factory, Cafe Track, Hatbox Hairdressing, Heather's Cafe, Cool Quick, McGee Street Bakery, Matchbox Cafe, Lamplighter, Old Grocery Espresso Bar, and new and exclusive, so this is a bit of an exclusive for the people watching, McManus pubs are now a stockist. So I'm not sure which pubs, it sounds like probably all of them will be stocking the Happy Hood, which is amazing. Thanks, McManus pubs. And an even bigger exclusive just for this launch is that McManus pubs would normally have obviously been buying a subscription or buying their copies to sell in their pubs, but they're all closed. So instead, the lovely Paul McManus has bought 50 copies that he has told me to gift to key workers. So what a gentleman and what a legend. So if anyone knows a key worker, and that's, you know, delivery drivers, you know, not just NHS staff, teachers, anyone who's still working on the front line, please message via thehappyhood.com. There's a contact page. Give me the name and address of the person that you want it to go to, and we will send them out for free. So thank you, McManus pubs. Love you.
Cheers, McManus.
Cheers. So that's really cool. What else have we been saying in the chat just before we go to our next guest? Hayley says Sway's illustration of Femi in issue number 9 is beaut. It is. Shall we do a spoiler alert and show people just so they've got an idea of your work? If I can find Femi. No pressure. There we go.
There you go.
So good, man.
That's so good. I love that so much.
Big up amazing singer. I said big up to Femi too. He's an amazing singer. Yeah,
definitely. And I would never have known about his work had Alex not come to me and said, "Look, there's a guy called Femi. I really want to, write about him in the Happy Hood." So that's what it's all about. Without further ado, though, and I can see Beth just coughing off screen, just getting ready. We're going to bring in issue 9 cover artist, no less, Beth. So come on in. Big up, Beth. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am okay. Do you know what? This isn't as stressful as a normal launch. Like, I get quite scared about normal launches because there's a lot to do, and what if no one shows up? Whereas this, if no one shows up, I'm not really gonna know. Like, no one would know. But luckily, people are watching. Anyway, issue 9 cover.
You got mine here.
Tell us all about it, Beth.
Well, you came to me and you were like, "Do you want to do the cover?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then you did the same thing that you did to Jordan and just said, "I don't care what you do something." And I was like, and yeah, so I was trying to think of something. I was like, maybe I'll do a shoe. And then, of course, Jordan had done a shoe already. So I was like, let's not do that. And I ended up drawing like landmarks in Abington Park, which is what the cover is. With like, ooh, where is my camera? There. So we got all the different, oh my goodness, the water tower and the museum and the bandstand. And this is the mulberry tree. Is it a mulberry tree?
I don't know.
There's a tree by the museum, and it's like falling over sideways, but it's something to do with Shakespeare. I don't really know. But
I feel like Mo would know. Mo, do you know?
Sorry, say that again. I was being handed this.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to figure out, is this...
There's a
mulberry?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We used to call it a smoking tree. I'm not sure if it's still known as that, but that was definitely a known name for it back in the day.
Well,
it was next to the mushroom bandstand.
And Beth, you're an artist, aren't you? So tell us all about what kind of art you do.
I am an artist. I tend to do illustration and comics like Jordan does. I made some colouring pages recently for another one here. Laura has coloured this one in. I've seen it.
I have. Somewhere. It is somewhere.
Which Q Space, who I kind of unofficially work with, kind of just there a lot of the time, have sent out in their like support packs to anyone who wants one, really. But I was like, yeah, you have my colouring pages, put them wherever you want. And I've been in 5 of the Happy Hoods, I think.
Sounds about right. I think
Issue
so.
1 was the first one I was in. But this one I've only done the cover. I didn't do anything else.
You didn't, did you?
No, the cover was enough, I think.
Yeah, I think I feel bad like getting people to do the cover and stuff inside as well, but you know.
It was a good fun thing to do. I did realise after I sent it to you, I was like, oh, I didn't do anything inside it. And then I was like, it's probably a good thing. one thing is enough.
So Q Space, just tell us quickly about that, because not everyone will know what Q Space is and what these packs are and stuff.
So Q Space is a community LGBT group. So their main thing really is running a youth group. So they do a 13 to 17, I think it's 13, age group of kids where they run every Thursday at the Castle Hill United Reformed Church. So they do like, it's just a youth group, but specifically for LGBT kids. And they do a load of other stuff too. So they like have where is the camera? They have a list of LGBT organizations. Basically, they just support people within Northampton, and they ran a pop-up shop in the Grosvenor recently. So it was on for I think it was the whole of half term in February, which feels like ages ago.
We actually have an article about it
You've got an article, Zach wrote it, and Georgia illustrated it.
Georgia, she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia Haynes.
Yeah, so they did that. They do that sort of thing a lot. And we also do like we go into schools and workplaces and do training. So I went into a school recently with them, but they did training for the staff at Kettering Hospital, because often they get given rainbow lanyards and rainbow badges, but they don't have to do anything to get them, which means that a lot of the time people don't actually have any of the knowledge required to deal with LGBT patients. So sometimes you'll see this and you'll be like, oh, this person knows what issues I might be facing, and then they don't. And they just, oh, it's just pretty, I just like rainbows. So it's good that they took on board Q Space's concerns and said, yeah, we'd really like you to come in and do it. So I tend to do a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah, and these wellbeing packs, tell us about them and what's in them.
So they've got a little letter. Oh my goodness, I'm never going to get better at this, am I? The letter just about stuff, and then it's got a little information sheet with various like helplines and things. This it's like It's like a twister spinner, so you put like a pin or something in it, and it tells you what to do because, you know, who knows what to do at the moment. And then we got all of my colouring, well, not all of them, some of my colouring pages, and the little information thing about organisation, and just a load of other stuff, just activities.
It's really cool. And who's it for? How can people get hold of them?
I don't officially know who it's for. I'm not. So Zach very kindly asked if my siblings wanted some. So he sent them to them, but obviously they are not necessarily LGBT. So the idea is it gets sent to anyone who fits within the community and who asks for one. So it could be, you know, you could be an adult and say, I just want a colouring page, and they'll send it to you. They send little flags in them as well. So I've got a non-binary flag, which I'm very excited about.
I have a pansexual flag, which I'm very excited about as well.
You just get them and wave them. Mine's over there somewhere, though.
Yeah, mine's over there. Yeah, so I requested one, and it came through. It was really cool. It was full of different stuff, and I love the fact that it's got the colouring things in, because that is proven to be good for your mental well-being, which is why we try and have a colouring page in the Happy Hood as well. And this issue we have one which is Castle Ashby. So you can sit and colour it in, and yeah, that was done by Beth Hall, who is OG illustrator. She did the first ever cover, which I don't actually have a copy of, which I'm really upset about. So I've just asked our printers to print off a very limited run of issue 1. So Mo, if you want an issue 1, you might get the chance to complete the set. I know, yeah, because I keep sort of waving around all the copies of the zine. I feel bad that I don't have the first issue. I'm like, oh look, all these amazing copies, and yeah, haven't got issue 1. So yeah, I don't know why I went off on a tangent there, Beth. Yeah, you're not from Northampton.
I am not from Northampton. No.
Tell us about that, Beth.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say something here that not everybody's gonna agree with. I didn't like Northampton when I first moved here. I have now almost lived here for 4 years. I moved here at the beginning of May in 2016. And we moved here for my partner's job. So we weren't, like, it was literally just out of the blue, this place has got a job for us. So we moved here, and originally I couldn't find anything that I felt I could go to. And I was only 19 when I moved here, but I have a little baby. He's now 4, so he's not very little, but and so I kind of went to the kind of parenty groups, just not really my scene, but I went to it anyway, and that was the only place that I could find any sort of community. And then I can't remember why, but I messaged Laura about something on Instagram, and now here I am. And I don't hate Northampton anymore. I do find it a bit difficult sometimes.
Yay!
But my main issue with it is that it's not near the sea. I'm from Brighton, and I miss the sea a lot, but I do enjoy the racecourse. I live right by it, and I live right by Abington Park. I'm like right in the middle, and I live opposite McGee Street Bakery, so it's a pretty solid place to live.
I mean, you picked a good spot there.
Yeah, I moved to Semilong when I first moved here, so it wasn't the best impression.
Actually, I'm doing that, but Semilong's not that bad anymore.
It's getting better.
It is, isn't it?
Improving, but the first day that I went outside when I moved here, I was walking up the road with Atty in the buggy. He's like 5 months old, and there's 4 riot vans at the top of the road. And I was like, okay, this is where I've moved.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, every street in every area has had that at one point or another. I had, I think it was 4 or 5 police cars with the dogs and the armed response unit at the bottom of my street. But that's a classic. I feel like if you don't have that once in Northampton, you haven't really lived.
No, I had the arm response in the first week of being here.
I do
And that
think
was just because of the type of music I was playing. So yeah, I mean, they're trigger happy at best. They're trigger happy.
I have definitely been involved with more emergency services than I expected to when I moved here. But it's all been fine. It's all good.
They're all right. It's all fine. No, but in all honesty, though, that's the thing about the Happy Hood. It was never here to pretend that everything's perfect and that this is like the best place in the entire world, and you know it beats a Brighton or a London, or you know in terms of facilities or whatnot. But I think for me, because obviously I'm not from here, and then I've moved away. I've kind of lived here, moved away, and come back a number of times. You start to see, actually, it's not really that different from lots and lots of other places across the UK, and in fact it's better than a lot of other places. And I think if you focus on the stuff that you like, you know, like the racecourse and Abington Park and places like McGee Street and the Lamplighter and all of these kind of independent businesses and the music scene and the, you know, all the rest of it, you know, it's about making the best of it and kind of focusing on the positive. And I think you've done that, haven't you, Beth? I think by the sounds of it, it was difficult to begin with, but I think you found people that you connect with now and things that you can do that you feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, definitely. Like with obviously being from Brighton, the queer community there is very big because it's a very gay place to be. But moving here, I actually get to do a lot of the organising and get to be involved. And I think that's almost true of lots of things, like being involved in, I just kind of turn up and help you with Happy Hood launches sometimes. And
yes, you do, thank you.
That's the sort of thing where you're like, does anyone need help? I can help you. Whereas if it was in a bigger place, I feel like saying that, they might be like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? So I do like the sense of like the smaller community, but being able to build something for yourself. I really enjoy that. So yeah, there are definitely some things that I would improve, but I definitely like it much more than I thought I did.
Yeah, that's I think that's what we've all found, isn't it? And Suede, I'd say the same to you. I think you are, and all of us are the kind of people that are like, okay, I don't like something, so what can I do? Like, what can I do to positively influence it? Did you design Mo's t-shirt, by the way, just out of interest?
I did make that t-shirt, actually. I was going to call on it earlier. We got to Mo.
Brilliant.
It's all coming into one, isn't it? So I can see a little bearded man just out of shot, who is, bless him, he's been left on the naughty step this entire time. He only left his computer, I think, twice. So he has actually been listening, hopefully. We'll quiz him on what he's been listening. This guy, what do we say about him, really? If you've been anywhere in Northampton and opened your eyes for more than 5 minutes on the internet, then you will have seen his bearded face in many different places. Most recently on the NN Social, which is fantastic and we'll talk all about. So let's welcome in the living legend that is Josh Astrop.
Hello, everybody.
You have got a Hometown Projects t-shirt on today.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I've got a few t-shirts from like local projects or bands or whatever, but they're all hanging up at the studio. So I've stolen this off Olga for tonight.
So tell us, Josh, because there will be at least a dozen people in Northampton who don't know who you are. So can you give a bit of an introduction on who you are and what you're about?
Well, first of all, I want their names and I want their addresses.
It's all right, they're subscribers. I'll hand it over. Don't worry about data protection.
What do I do? I've got I own and run a rehearsal studio, which obviously at the moment is shut. So that put me in a position where I get to meet loads of musicians, and like not any town, I suppose. I was going to say just Northampton, but any town, I find that you can feel like everybody knows everybody, and I think that's even more the case when you're involved in like scenes, like the music scene or the art scene or whatever it is, or cooking or whatever it is. That sort of community that is already heavily interconnected is even tighter. So it sounds really arrogant to talk about how people might know you.
Well, it's not. We need to put you into context, Josh. You're not being arrogant. So,
Okay.
So you run a rehearsal studio, but also you had your podcast for a number of years. Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so I wanted an excuse to talk to people that were doing interesting or fun things, basically. So I started a podcast where I had that excuse to have a chat to people. Like if you ring somebody up or send them a message out of the blue, that someone that you don't know, and say, do you want to go for a coffee? They'll either think that you're strange or you're hitting on them. So if I said, hello, I like what you're doing, do you want to come on my podcast? That's a bit more of an acceptable invitation.
I thought you were hitting on me, to be honest.
You're the exception, Mo. You're the exception.
Okay, fine.
I like that you're so awkward that you had to start a podcast to make friends.
Well, I call them friends, but they wouldn't. But that's not the point.
Oh, I suddenly feel really sorry for you. Bless you.
I'm fine.
So what's your podcast called, Josh?
Well, I don't do it anymore. I finished probably about a year ago now, I suppose. But it was called the Josh Astrock Podcast.
But it's still available, though, right?
Yeah, it's all still on there. 150 something episodes with all sorts of people. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have become friends with you, Laura, if I wasn't doing the podcast. Mo, you came on it
probably
as well.
Not, because you do suck a little bit, so.
Thanks. But joking aside, I did speak to some amazing people, inspirational people. Some of my musical heroes, people that were in bands that I listened to growing up, that I wanted to be like. They were my favourite band, and I managed to meet up with them and have a chat for an hour, which is like, that's so cool. I'm so lucky to have done that. You forget that when you do something like 150 times, it loses its significance somewhat. But when you think back about, I suppose that's life in general. Oh, this is getting deep, isn't it? But your day-to-day stuff quickly becomes boring, no matter how excited you were about it at the beginning. I find so it's nice to reflect occasionally.
So we can still listen to the Josh Astrock podcast on all good streaming platforms, right?
Yeah, it's available. Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, and anywhere that you can get a podcast, it's there. Yeah. Excellent.
And you run the rehearsal studio, which is called Audio Works in St James.
Yes, yeah, Westbridge. Yeah.
Cool. So how did you get involved in the Happy Hood?
That's a great question. Probably I can't remember now, but I think it was something like you had already done an issue or two, and I said, come and chat about it, it's really cool, let's see if we can tell some people about this who maybe don't know about it yet. And then I wormed my way in.
You did worm your way in, yes. And you write for the Happy Hood now. You've got your own column, which has been in probably 6 issues now, I want to say, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I can't
maybe. Remember. And also you do other articles as well. You're not a writer by trade, are you?
Right. You're not a writer.
Unfortunately, I am now, but I wasn't. What I meant to say was, none of, or very few of the people who write for the Happy Hood are like trained journalists or trained writers or people who do it for a job. Most of the contributors are just ordinary folk writing stuff. And who knew? You've got talent.
Oh, thank you. That's very generous of you. Yeah, I like doing it. I like writing the stuff. I'm obviously not particularly confident about my ability, but I think that's just because I haven't done it very much. And like everything, I it takes practice. But thanks to you and your advice and editing skills, I think you knocked
I
them
don't
in.
edit it that much though, to be fair. All most stuff. I don't really edit much at all.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, it's just nice to have the opportunity to write something, actually have it printed. You know, anyone can start a blog or any sort of online writing, but to have it a physical copy of something that you've written is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, isn't it? Have you got issue 9 yet, Josh?
I have not.
My bad. I'll have to send you one.
No. To be fair, I've got to be honest. I'm not a subscriber, which is
because normally you get a free copy because you're a contributor, so you don't need to subscribe.
Well, I think it's because I obviously stock it at AudioWorks at the studio. So as soon as it comes out, I have a bunch of copies at work to sell. But that's no excuse. I should be a subscriber. I'll do it tonight.
Thanks. You heard it here first, everyone. Right, we're going to have a little look in the chat and see what people have been saying. So Interplay Motion Films says the skate park has some of Jordan's work, apparently. Wade, is that true?
A few tags over there. You might find a few tags there, yeah. Maybe.
I think I've spied some on the race course as well, but we're just going to keep quiet about that.
Just going to go dust off my rollerblades.
One of our stockists, actually, Liam from Old Grocery, he roller skates around the park, and I've seen him during lockdown, obviously on his allocated outdoor time, exercise time, skating, and he gets so into it. He's got his headphones on and he's skating around the park, and I must say it's a joy to behold. So shout out.
Yeah, I've seen him. He has got some fucking moves, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
He's like those 70s skaters where it's like there's 70s disco playing and they're just basically doing a dance routine on skates. It's amazing.
It is pretty amazing. So what else is going on in the chat? Andrew Convey. Josh is an author. So there you go.
I don't know how do you define author?
I don't know how you define writer or author or anything really, but I think I had a friend who said to me, "Do you write?" I said, "Yeah," and she was like, "Well, you're a writer then." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
So there you go. It's the same with anything.
I mean, you do all that erotic fiction, don't you, Josh?
Well, I didn't come here just to promote my own stuff, you know.
Yeah, no. You had two comments, but Josh Arse Trope is the best pen name I've ever heard for erotic fiction.
Well, you know,
so check that out if you get the chance.
It's as imaginative as my podcast name. I also do a lot of charity work, but I don't like to talk about it.
Okay. Well, I've got a question for everyone then. I asked Mo earlier. Mo, I just can't do it. I could never be a weather person. It just won't work. So if I'm going to go around and ask everyone, Slade, I'll start with you. What do you get out of contributing to the Happy Hood? Because you don't get money. So what do you get out of it?
I get a sense of fulfillment. No.
Really no, because that didn't sound genuine at all.
I think by contributing and being involved in the Happy Hood as well, and especially going to the events and stuff like that, you get to network and meet with different people that I probably wouldn't meet otherwise, and it's just been an eye opener to all the other great things that are actually going on here that I'll not be aware of if the Happy Hood didn't exist. So by contributing, it's made me aware of these things that are going on. And I just think it's wicked, and I hope it goes on for many, many, many years to come.
Thanks. Aw. Beth, what about you?
I was concentrating on Jordan and I didn't think of an answer. No, I can't remember who said about getting your writing in print feeling different, but I definitely feel like having your art on something feels very real all of a sudden. You can sit and draw as much as you like, but as soon as it's out there in the world and people own this, you're like, oh, now I hate this so much. But you get to be like, yeah, no, I did do that work.
I don't really.
but you do notice all of the mistakes in it. I think as soon as someone sends it out into the world, you're like, oh, I could have done that so much better. Don't look for mistakes, Laura. Put it down.
I think it's perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Josh, what do you get out of it, apart from my undying love and friendship?
Yeah, I mean, nothing beats that. But secondary to that, I get a sense. It inflates my already inflated ego.
Okay, that's honest.
Honest, yeah, I'm being honest. It makes me feel like I've got something to say, even if everyone thinks it's rubbish. The fact that I've written it and it's in a magazine just makes me think, well, I'm obviously important, and everyone wants to hear what I've got to say. So, fuck you.
I want to change my answer to that.
Yeah. No. So, on a serious note, writing is really cathartic, and that's one of the things that I got from it that I didn't realise was the case. Sort of writing something, having a point, trying to articulate. I mean, you can tell by me talking now, I struggle with being succinct and articulate, particularly on the fly. So the ability to edit what I've said before or what I've written before it goes out not only helps me work out what I really think, but it also helps me say it in a shorter amount of words and perhaps better explain myself. So personally, it's a useful exercise, even if it was never published or sent anywhere. You know, just writing, having a journal and stuff is useful. But the fact that the Happy Hood does so much interesting and fun work, and also helps people, and that I can do something to contribute that, however big or small that may be. It's nice to be part of that. I don't know, that team or crew, whatever you'd call it. Yeah, it's just good to have the opportunity. So it's good personally, and hopefully one person will read it and think there's something there, you know.
Yeah, that was a nice answer. Although I believe your first answer, I think the second answer was bullshit. So just call him bullshit on that one. So I'm going to answer the question now, because I guess I should, if just in, you know, to be fair. Which answer shall I pick? What all you said. No, I'm really glad that that we've all persevered with the Happy Hood. It's been really hard at times. There have been times where I've been pulling my hair out and wanting to like cry and thinking, why am I doing this? Because, you know, we do this voluntarily. I was paid for some of it last year for a very lovely grant from the lottery, which is now all gone. So all of the hours that I'm doing now are voluntary on it. But I was sitting doing some stuff earlier, some work, I guess you could call it, you know, answering emails and just sorting stuff out and looking through orders and updating the website and just doing all that kind of stuff. And I was sitting there and I was just like, I love this. I love this so much because it means something and it's people enjoy it. And I was sick of hearing about the bad news about Northampton, and I feel like we all started something, like we did it together. There's been 120 contributors in one way or another to the Happy Hood. So that's writing, illustrating, designing. We've had people taking pictures for us, making videos, all sorts of stuff. So like that's 120 people that I didn't know before, and they didn't know each other, and now I feel like we've created something that is powerful because it's just by ordinary people, and it doesn't have an agenda other than let's make something nice and happy. So yeah, it's like the coolest thing, and I hope it goes on forever, but I just need people to subscribe, basically. Please subscribe. Go on.
Sorry, no, go on.
No, go on.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, like you saying you were fed up of hearing everybody talk negatively, or some people talk negatively about Northampton. And it's true. I mean, I think everyone gets bored of something if it's repetitive, whatever it is, particularly at the moment. Now, a lot of us are in very similar daily routines. But that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved with the Happy Hood, because I knew that there was loads of really interesting stuff going on, people doing gigs, people doing pop-up shops, restaurants, breweries. I mean, they're you know, I mean, we all know there's shitloads of everything in Northampton. However, some of it does need to be searched for, or you do need to know where it is. It's hidden on a side street, or they don't have much of an online presence. So the Happy Hood, it just connects those dots. You know, it is, for want of a better phrase, and amongst other things, it is like a reference guide to the not only the happy stuff, but the good stuff as well. You know, it's not just a community magazine or a community leaflet about something that's happening, you know, at a local youth club or something like that, which may have been what previous community-based things were about, which might not seem particularly exciting, but it's not that. It's connecting the dots, and there is so much great stuff going on. It's nice to have somewhere to point someone if they are new to the town, or they don't know, or if they say it's shit. What I do is I roll up a Happy Hood and just smack them in the face.
And of course, I'm not condoning violence here, okay? So there'll be none of that. Yeah, so subscribe basically. It's thehappyhood.com. You can buy single issues if you thanks Jordan. Like which if you don't want to subscribe and you can't take that level of commitment, it's an annual subscription. So I understand that might be a bit much for people. You can just buy it issue by issue if that works better for you. But it's all via thehappyhood.com at the moment. Mo's going
no subscription or nothing.
Ride or die.
Just whatever you want to do, whatever you can afford to do at the moment, it's fine. Yeah, head over to thehappyhood.com because basically if people don't subscribe in large numbers, it's not sustainable. So we need it to be a sustainable thing. And, you know, if I think I worked it out for one of my funding applications, I think it's something like if only 2% of Northampton's population actually subscribed, it'd be more than sustainable. So we're not looking for huge numbers. There's 225,000 people in Northampton. Come on, people, we can do this. So yeah, if you want to be a stockist, let me know for when lockdown's over. If you want to buy subscriptions for employees, if you're a large organisation that's got a lot of money and you just want to throw some our way, please do. That'd be ace. And I just want to say a huge thank you to every single person who has contributed to every single one of these issues, plus issue 1, which is being reprinted. Exciting. You're all legends. Like I just look around and think, God, these people are spending their time and talent and putting it towards this thing, and it's just fucking great. So how can people find you and get in touch with you and see your stuff if they want to? Can we go around? So Mo, how do people
search Mo Dabbler on Instagram? I don't have anything for sale. I don't have any t-shirts. I've got some highlights on Instagram that hopefully people will find funny.
Oh my God,
if you don't subscribe for the Happy Hood, then I'm telling you right now, I will be coming around to your house and screaming my words through your windows and letterboxes. So subscribe now.
So yeah, so follow Mo Dabbler on Instagram, who is absolutely hilarious. Suede, how can we get hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram at rare_Suede. You can go on my website, madebyswade.com. You'll see my artwork and things on there. Mo, if you need a t-shirt, I'm your guy. I can help you make that. We can talk about making stories. But most importantly, we'll link up as soon as this coronavirus is done. We're back out on the roads. We can both go spraying. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, we've all got our face masks, so we can go and.
Yeah, we've got an hour. We could get a lot of things done in an hour.
See you in the skate park in 10.
But most importantly, make sure you go and check out happyhood.com, get your copy, subscribe, spread the word, tell a friend if, at the very least, and yeah, enjoy your lockdown.
Beth, how can we get hold of you?
I'm on Instagram as Beth Easton Art, and basically all of the things that you can, other places you can find me are in my Linktree link on Instagram, so I'm not going to tell you all of them. Yeah, and I do t-shirts and things and stuff as well. So that's there. And I wanted to say thank you to you, Laura.
Oh.
Because you're amazing and you made all this happen.
No, thank you. I mean, sick cover.
Well, thank you for making me do it. And I had to do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to do the next cover, the kind of, I guess, commission is do whatever you want.
Yeah, have fun with that. Right?
That's all you get. And Joshy, where can we find you?
That's a great question. Probably just Instagram. Josh Astrop, JOSHASTROP. I'm not really doing a lot at the moment, other than the NN Social, and obviously writing for the Happy Hood.
Yeah, just tell us about the NN Social quickly.
It's a weekly, I suppose, like a podcast, video podcast, where myself, Nick Gray, and Andy Convey talk to people from Northampton doing interesting things, business owners, musicians. We normally have a musical guest and then a non-musical guest. So yeah, we're just trying to recreate sort of going to the pub and talking to friends and listening to music, basically. So it's quite informal, but Wednesdays at 8 p.m. And you can find us on Instagram. Just look for the NN Social. And to add to what Beth said a second ago, at the risk of sounding like I'm sucking up the teacher, the Happy Hood is clearly a fucking great thing. And I would imagine it's very rewarding and very stressful. So thanks for doing it and sticking with it. And I'm sorry that I'm regularly late with my articles. That only adds to your stress, I'm sure.
It actually really does. So no more late submissions.
Considering I'm extremely intolerant of people that aren't punctual, I'm ashamed of myself. Okay, and I will do better. No, but joking aside, it's clearly an awesome thing that I'm proud to do something for, and it only exists because of you. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Well, me and Paige, so I can't take all the credit, 50% of the credit. Cool. So thank you, everyone. Final shout out to Alex Salter, who's the graphic designer on this, who has designed, I think, the last 4 or 5 issues now. He's amazing. He puts all of this stuff together. So all of the creativity around the illustrations and just the layouts and everything he does, he spends hours and hours on it. So shout out to Alex. Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, this was hopefully our first and last ever launch online, because I can't take this. Like, this is, I just want to hug everyone and see everyone in real life. So hopefully when we launch then issue 10, which will be in July, it will be face to face. Oh God. Please. So yeah, thanks ever so much, everyone, for coming along for this thing. I didn't know how it's going to go, but you've all been amazing. And yeah, see you in July, hopefully, face to face.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.